Well, let's start off with James Gyakye Quayson because we just have a news coming in from the court, and Accra High Court, presided over by Justice Mary Azu, has ruled that the trial of the NDC's James Gyakye Quayson will be heard on a daily basis starting from July 4, 2023. The court ruled that its June 16 order announcing his arrangement was within the law, and a case for review had no basis at all. Let's get details from our legal affairs correspondent, Joseph Akable, who is joining us via Zoom now with details on the latest. Of course, we know that the High Court is making this ruling after having a day to reflect on the arguments that were made by counsel for James Gyakye Quayson and also from the Attorney General side. Why is the judge arriving at this decision, Lee?
So Justice Yanzu explains that a court has the inherent jurisdiction or the power to review its own decision, and again makes the point that as far as the Constitution, the Courts Act, and other relevant laws are concerned, by way of even decisions that have been made by higher courts, such as the Supreme Court, it entrusts the power to the court to regulate its proceedings. She says it is not at the convenience of the parties involved. It's rather at the court's own determination. So a court has the power and the right to decide when to hear a case and does not share this authority with any other individual. And so that is how come the court came to the conclusion that it will exercise its power to determine when to hold proceedings. You recall that the court was sitting on the 16th. Before even sitting on the 16th of June, it had already decided that it was going to have a hearing on the 20th and the 21st. And so by way of the addition that the court made, it was just the 22nd and the 23rd that the court added, subject to the AG's request and indicating that the day-to-day basis will take place thereafter. And so the court says that since the 21st and 23rd had already passed by, it means that it has to fix dates going forward. And so in terms of what the arrangements will be going forward, this particular courtroom where the court sits at the Criminal Court 3, it's not available on Mondays due to other courts that utilize that facility as well. And so the court said that it was not going to sit on Monday. In terms of Tuesday, the court again said it is the day that the election is taking place, and it has considered that and decided that it's not going to sit on that particular day. But going forward, it will sit on the 29th. On the 30th is Martyrs' Day, so it will not sit on that day. So it will come back on the 4th of July. Then after the 4th of July, the court says to exercise its powers to hear the case on a day-to-day basis. And so that is the decision that the court has come up with. And both sides seem very satisfied with this decision. The reason being that for Mr. Quayson's side, they make the point that the substantive concern that they had with the day-to-day arrangement was that it meant that if he came on the 23rd of June, it would have meant that he would have had to come the next day and the following day, which means that you don't have ample time to embark on a campaign ahead of the June 27 parliamentary by-election. And so they are satisfied with this arrangement in that the court has considered and allowed them to stay away on the June 27 when the election is taking place, and substantively they come back on June 29. Then a day-to-day basis takes off after July 4. And so they are satisfied. The AG side also make the point that the court has agreed with their position substantively, that the court has the power to regulate its proceedings.
And the other time you were in court, you had the opportunity to engage James Gyakye Quayson, who says he's unfazed about whatever happens in court. How is he receiving this latest decision?
He was not present in court, Blessed. You recall on that particular day when the court indicated it was going to deliver its ruling on June 23, the judge did add that it was going. The request was made about the fact that they wanted James Gyakye Quayson to be excused from proceedings today, that is on Friday. And you know that the judge upheld that particular request and granted him the opportunity to miss today's session. And you recall in that brief interaction with me, he told me that he was actually heading to the constituency. And so we understand he's in the constituency, and already when the initial decision came in, he was satisfied. And so with this one, it doesn't really change anything by way of the arrangement that he has made by way of his campaign for between now and June 27. And so he doesn't have to change his campaign plans. He's still within the constituency and is going to campaign up until at least a day before the June 27 when the election itself will take place.
I see. So, for now, the Attorney General's position, is there any change to that? Because the argument has been consistent, and the fact that they believe that James Gyakye Quayson should be a candidate for jail.
I mean, those are matters that are still before the court by way of the criminal trial. The AG's first witness is in the box, and we know that that's a position that the Attorney General holds strongly to and will be advancing evidence in support of that. In terms of this particular decision, they are satisfied with it in that they believe that first, the application by James Gyakye Quayson was dismissed, and so they are satisfied with the outcome. There's another point that has come up topical in the last couple of days, Blessed. You recall the case had been made that the AG had made comments which were deemed prejudicial, and those comments, including one that was published on myjoyonline.com, an interview I had done with the Attorney General, were given to the court as evidence to back that and support this particular application for a variation of the court's order for a day-to-day hearing. And the court said those statements that were provided to it were not relevant to help it decide this particular matter, because what was before it was whether it should exercise its own powers to vary its decision, and the court said that those statements were not relevant to that determination. And so the AG's office, they like the other side, are satisfied with what has come up from the court.
So going forward, what's likely to happen? The dates for hearing of this case, and when is the next sitting, by the way?
So the next immediate sitting will be on the June 29, and the state's first witness, Tichi Menson, who is testifying, will be in the box. He's actually being cross-examined by lawyers for James Gyakye Quayson. So after June 29, the next date will be July 4, and after July 4, a day-to-day basis. So every day after July 4, the court will be sitting on this particular matter.
Of course, last week, given the fact that James Gyakye Quayson himself was in court, quite a significant representation from the rank and file of the National Democratic Congress, knowing that this is their candidate standing elections in the upcoming by-election within the Asin North area. Still representation from these sets of people?
Not at all, Blessed. In fact, in terms of the key individuals who came, mainly the legal team led by Chachuti Kata. At this time around, he was joined by Baba Jamal, and also Terry Waja was also present to support the legal team. Then Attorney Letha was also present, and former Attorney General Marietta Briapio also present. That made it by way of the individuals that, the big names like we normally call them, coming in to show their support. We understand the reason being that they are simply on the ground working actively in Asin North. Those who had come with the placards the last time across the road from the law court complex were also absent, because we understand, again, the work is on the ground. And so the campaign is ongoing at Asin North. We understand he's trying to cover as many areas as he can to make a strong case for his election on Tuesday as the MP for Asin North constituency.
Okay, then, Joseph Akable, thanks for giving us that update. My colleague joining us, of course, he's our legal affairs correspondent and breaking down the issues concerning James Gyakye Quayson. But